How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week. Is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday? Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, nerds? Let me bring the music down real quick and say hello to the wonderful people of the chat. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all killing it. Yeah, like the stream starting soon landing page. Well, guess what? We can get you some cool stuff like that too, buddy. Just shout out to Real Simple Ariel real quick. He's in my chat. And if you guys don't know who he is, you're missing out. All my people on YouTube, go check out Real Simple Ariel on Twitter. All right, so couple comments about today's market before we start talking about my day trades and all other cool stuff that happened today. I mean, boy, oh boy, market went absolutely haywire. You got the overnight news about the China deal, Trump cutting down tariffs against China, China cutting down tariffs against America, and big gap up. But you know, being the day trader, I couldn't really find any positions to take advantage of. Not that they weren't trades, it's just how am I going to go long when the market gapped up so much? It was hard, so I had to be very patient. I dabbled with a couple small cap stocks. I was trying to get long hood 84 on my swing account. Oh my god, don't let Real Simple maybe I'll just say Ariel instead of his whole handle. Don't let Ariel hear that part because he's gonna get mad at me again. I was haggling for 10 cents and I missed out on what could be a multi-dollar move here. And then at the late end of the day, we got an 87 breakout on Uber. I was like, oh my god, I missed out so badly on that one. And you know, have to wait. Hopefully this gap up on the market gives us a little bit of a pullback tomorrow, and then that way I could buy some of the stocks that I was looking to on the swing account, and also sets up for a beautiful dip buy opportunity on the day trade stocks too. So why don't we go to the full screen real quick, show you guys my trades on the day and how I decided to attack the market today. So as I mentioned, I was looking at small cap stocks off the open because it's kind of the easier market. Maybe I shouldn't say the easier market, honestly, but I honestly feel it's the easier market, right? It's either the stock gaps up ridiculously high. This one gapped up ridiculous percent, like 700-800%. So I got short. I was going to say either you go short and you look for the retracement, or if you believe the stock has another 700% in it, you look for the long. Whereas the large cap stocks, sometimes they move way too close with the market. If the market's getting chopped up, you could get chopped up in the large cap stocks too. If you're not trading the one that's in play, even more of a chance to get chopped up over there. So I felt like off the open, focusing on small cap was the right idea for me, and thankfully it was profitable. These stocks have been kind of having a theme recently. So GRYP, KDLY, I think a few weeks ago we had CEP, maybe I think it was CEP, or maybe a different name along the same news wires, which is basically they're going to be looking into Bitcoin treasuries. So all of these PRs have been coming out, but most of the moves have been to the upside. Figuring out that most of the moves have been to the upside, the easier trade is to go long, which is exactly what I do to start the day with GRYP. I see that the stock is halting back and forth after the open a little bit, but after the halt, it's not able to get below VWAP. It's not able to get below the $2 area. So I get long right around $2, and I get a pretty free ride into $3. But then halt down, halt down, halt down, halt down. So I'm like, okay, get me out of this trade. I don't want to be stuck into another halt down. As you can see, it halts down 2 more times, and then it's just not able to get above VWAP. It's not able to get above that very same $2 area, which I was leaning on, and that gave me a very simple short. I'm focusing on this idea over here for the long side. Was something to keep an eye out for. KDLY though is the patterns on this one were a little bit different compared to the other small cap stocks that have been kind of squeezing on this whole Bitcoin news. This one was by far the most highly gapped up stock that I've seen, from about $5 to a high of $30. So this was the highest gap up on one of these stocks that I have seen, and I just didn't think there was more move left on this name today at all, given that the shorts to borrow on this stock, at least for my prop platform, it was very cheap. I don't know how much it was for Centerpoint and other platforms. It was very cheap to borrow this stock, so instantly halts down off the open, waiting to see how the liquidity would play out. There was a buyer on 25. The first time stock pushes into 25, it bounces right off of 25, and then it breaks 25, and then you just clean move to the downside as the buyer is getting wiped out. I just set my order type, bang bang boop boop boop, stop limit, and then it just goes right through that order. I get full 24.90. Beautiful limit entry over there. Push to the downside and catching multiple dollar moves over here, another multiple dollar short, and then couple breakout trades. I guess you could say I could have held a couple positions a little bit longer, but I'm overall happy with how I traded my small cap trades today. Also had some earnings day 2 positions. For example, SoundHound. I was actually trying to replicate what happened with Affirm on SoundHound. If you guys are watching Affirm today, not sure why Affirm was so strong, but I guess you could say the whole market itself was ridiculously strong today. Even after gapping up, we didn't sell off at all. So given that overall strength on the market, Affirm really caught some some wind, some bids, however you want to put it, and bounced right off of VWAP. So I was looking for something similar to this. I wanted a very similar move back up to north side. What happened to my layouts over here? What the? Was looking for a move back off of VWAP to the north side on Soundhound, given how strong Soundhound was for a day 2 trade. This was earnings day 1 over here, and then after day 2, given the whole market, nice little breakout off the opening range high, which I missed out on a pullback into VWAP. I was looking for that very similar bounce, but there was a very key nuance that I spotted later on. It did hold the opening range high, very similar to Affirm, which right here also pulled back into its opening range high right here. But the difference was the stock over here did it, you know, off the opening momentum. Still, we're still into 1030. You can see how the 21 EMA is still below VWAP, and it kind of bounces off the 21 EMA off the VWAP at the same time. Whereas Soundhound, it pulls back much later, kind of around 12 o'clock or so, where volume dies down, momentum dies down, and you can see that by the downward slope on the stock over here. Momentum really dies down, volume dies down, but we are below 21 EMA at this point and kind of having a really strong indecision point. Some sellers are selling, but thankfully in my case, you know, buyers did step back in and rally it back to the north side, where I got to take profits on my last few shares. But I did cut some of my size because I didn't think that there was any move left over here on this name, and just very much possible where it just trades sideways for the rest of the day. I've seen that permutation before, but I did manage to hold some size for that move into higher day, which I'm thankful for myself for being able to do that. Quick little scalp over here on the QQQ short. QQQ kind of just draw the, maybe we can just do it over here real quick. If we just go to QQQ and is that today? Wait, how did I trade this? Oh, right here, that's right. If you just throw in a trend line, I basically took the short on that trend line to the downside, but instead of going short QQQ, I went long SQQQ and was able to grab, you know, basic scalp over here, very simple scalp. Got out most of my size on the 2-minute bar low break, and then closed my trade right back at break even. Was looking to get long later on, which is basically looking to short the market again, because I think there would be some sort of profit covering on the market, some sort of a move lower where I could dip by some positions that I wanted to, but no, just the strength coming back in, and especially this close into the this move into the close on the market was pretty strong. We went from what, 505 to 508 on the market over there, so pretty strong. You can see maybe investing hedge funds and so on are pushing back into the market. Also, today is possibly the day that S&P 500 announces their rebalance portfolios. So when things like that happen, they're not actually rebalancing, but when they announce their portfolios that they're going to be rebalancing, some companies and some hedge funds will start front running it. For example, Coinbase. Coinbase was announced that it's going to get added to the S&P 500 index, possibly at the end of the month, or triple witching or quad witching, whatever it's called, right? One of the Fridays or soon enough this month. Pretty sure this month or next month. I might be a little wrong. I think MSCI might be this month, and then SPY rebalance might be next month. I'll have to check in and come back to you guys on that. But I think they announced that Coinbase was going to get added to the index, so Coinbase now getting a beautiful pump off of that to the upside. And you know, some hedge funds will try to front run this kind of news. Previously, at the end of April, the Russell imbalance IWM announced what they were going to rebalance, and that was some crazy moves over there into the close also at the end of April. Coming back to my trades on the day, just to finish off where I left off. Microchip, I think that's what the ticker is, MCHP. I could be wrong by saying the company name, but they announced earnings Friday. Today was day 2. You could call this a inverse bouncy ball pattern almost. If you pull it up on the 5-minute, it looked very good, like an inverse bouncy ball pattern right there. Higher day, flat into pre-market high area of $61, lined up with the even dollar price point. You had the higher low, higher low, higher low with the flat top. So basically took the breakout of that level, and I I got bored after a while. I got 50 cents per share or 70 cents per share. My best exit, maybe. No, that's wrong. 60 cents per share for my best exit right before it pops into the north side, where I could have gotten about $1.50 for my trade for risking very little, right? Not risking too much. This is a Lance concept over here. Taking that bouncy ball, nice beautiful trade, day 2 earnings name. Just gotta keep it simple. Don't gotta make your trading too hard for yourself by like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. There's the earnings report came out so good, so bad, which we're gonna do very soon. I'm gonna have to do that very soon. But you don't have to make your trading so hard. Sometimes just keep it simple. I tried to go long Apple over here 210, but I realized this was kind of R word, so I just completely dumped out of that position and walked away from it. And along on pins, this one's actually an interesting concept. Let me talk about this concept real quick on Pinterest. So right here on the opening candle, midpoint right around 32.50 is where the stock pulls back and finds support. And if you go back to the hourly chart, right on the hourly chart too, the midpoint of that big volume candle and the big range candle lines up at 32.50, which is what the stock basically bounces off of. I wish I took that long from there. Instead, once it pulls back above VWAP and creates, sticking to the Lance heuristics, which is long above VWAP, short below VWAP. So I'm trying not to fight in this area, waiting for the stock to build above VWAP and then go long. Sadly, there wasn't too much juice, and I also added like an absolute moron. So I started here with the smallest size. I added pretty good size, and then over here I add a lot more size. So now my average is basically up here, and I don't get paid out for my average down here. So I basically do absolute stupid trading over here, and do end up losing on this trade overall. But how much I lose on this trade compared to how much I made on the other stocks today, it doesn't really matter. So kind of save myself a little bit by getting out in almost flat territory, but I do end up losing on this trade today. And that's pretty much my trades overall. About 8 tickers, and still too many tickers for a normal day. But I'm an active day trader, which I'm trying to kind of scale back on, as you guys know. That closing was leverage ETF rebalancing of 15 billion, says Area. Oh my goodness. So ETFs did rebalance possibly over there. I mean, we saw Coinbase making a pretty big pump after that one. Quickly gonna refresh my good friend Centerpoint Securities to see if they're slacking today. They don't have a post yet. That's pretty late from them. Going to the next one, I guess then. It is a post that I saw Lance retweet. This is pretty cool if it plays out. Every child owner with $1,000 into an S&P 500, and let's say you get paid out at like 18 years old. If that plays out, I mean, that's basically quantitative easing in a way. I mean, if tax money, every $1,000 for every newborn baby or every child is kind of put into an account, I mean, that's basically pumping the market, and also teaching kids investing. I wish when I was in university, thankfully, or high school or whatever, thankfully, my grandpa was big into the stock market. My dad's into the stock market. I got myself into the stock market through my own routes. So, I was kind of into that world a little bit, and was drawn to it quickly. But this way, you'll see a lot more people actually be involved in it. A lot of people don't even know how to trade stocks, people my age, which is ridiculous if you ask me. And forget about trading, even just buying the S&P 500 and just holding on to it and just buying it on a regular basis, and instead of just putting their money into the bank and letting it rot in the bank, why not just buy a little bit of SPY every year, every month, every quarter, whatever your risk tolerance is. People don't even know how to do basic things like that. So if this plays out, that would be pretty cool to see how it plays out. Just something that I saw on my screen pop up today, and I figured it would be cool to bring it up, cool to point out that maybe things are heading in a way better direction than we previously thought. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is Trump's market. Yesterday was Biden's market. Today is Trump's market. We are all systems go. Trump said buy the market. If you haven't bought the market yet, I'm talking to myself because I haven't bought the market yet. Prad, you need to put the day trading brain away a little bit and start to swing trading more. So put the market to the north side, put the mortgages on your houses and buy the market is all I can say. The guy who makes these posts for CP is out for his honeymoon. Ah, that makes sense. Well, happy honeymoon to the center point dude. Because that means we won't be seeing them for a couple days or a couple weeks, sadly. I always love seeing these posts, but thankfully, I am prepared just enough for my watch list today. So most of my watch list comes from some of these earnings names after hours, some of the earnings names we have tomorrow pre-market, some of the hot movers that the stock market has been having so far, such as Uber, Palantir, Affirm today was pretty hot. Oh, I almost forgot. Day 2 earnings and a stock that actually did really well today. What was that energy name? NRG. NRG was on my radar today. So we want to put that one up there. Maybe like even other stocks from previous watch list, previous earnings board, Shopify, Disney, Carvana, ARM apparently caught some bids today. So a couple stocks over here possibly still worthy to put on our watch list, but for the show, I'm just going to quickly go through some of the names that reported earnings. And we're going to start with, look, this wasn't planned, Ariel, but we're going to start with your favorite company, Rigetti. See how they reported today. Q1 revenue misses, earnings details coming through. First quarter results Monday closing bell. Here's a look. 13 cents per share, beating estimates of loss of 6 cents per share. Quarterly revenue 1.47 million. Missed analyst estimates of 2.55 million and is down from revenue of 3.05 from the same period last year. Is proud to be awarded important government funded projects in the US and UK to advance our technology, which demonstrates our continued leadership in superconducting quantum computing. I mean, at this point, they're just making up words, right? We are also making great strides in developing innovative approaches to scaling to higher qubit count systems, which is possible due to our open and modular system architect. You know, I do wonder with the whole Microsoft Majorana and everything else going on, how much of that can they lean on and kind of, you know, steal the technology and try to use that technology to actually make their own technology. But as far as we know, this company is pretty lame and they're BS. And also, as Ariel calls it, you know, there's strippers out there that make more money than this company does. So overall, it actually looks like a flat move off the earnings report. So let's go take a look at the move over here. I do have one of my buddies who said it was an amazing trade through 11. So I'm guessing he shorted it through $11 and he enjoyed the ride to $10. So easy dollar per share move on Rigetti over here after hours. And if you pull it up on the daily chart too, you can see how that 1150, which we did break through today with the help of the rest of the market and so on, has been a struggle area for this name. I mean, this stock is still above the 200-day moving average, which is shout out to that. But the fact that we kind of had this breakout, earnings report comes out, and then you know, it kind of pushes right back through, I would call that a failed breakout. So you got a clean failed breakout opportunity at this point. Given that earnings report too, I want to just be shorting the stock on every pop. So I'm looking for, you know, key levels such as last week's high to 1070, 1050 area. So looking to see a last week's high if will give us some options. Ideally, I think we see the stock below 10 tomorrow, and then on any pop into 10, you're just looking for a short. It's level to level, and it's a $9-10 stock, so you're basically playing like even dollar levels and you're playing half dollar levels. So nothing really too important on this stock. Besides that, I would love to see this one get absolutely smoked and we can ride it below 9, but I think you know, expecting it to go much below 9 when you have a bunch of EMAs right here would also be a little ridiculous. If it does get below 9 tomorrow and stays weak below 9, trust me, I am all systems go to short the crap out of this name, but I don't think that we're going to see that tomorrow. It might take a couple of days for it to actually set up for that bigger move, for that bigger leak down, but given the current trend that the market's in, QNTM, I think, is the ETF for the quantum stocks. I forget what the ETF for quantum stocks is. So let me pull up my crack list. Where is ETF? ETF QTUM. So given that the quantum ETF is, you know, clearly showing you a little bit more strength, if the rest of them are bullish and Rigetti kind of holds up and starts holding above 9, I wouldn't doubt that at all. But bigger move below 9, oh baby, I'm excited to see how that one plays out as a day trade. The next one on the watch list is actually ASTS. But before I go to that one, I want to talk about NRG. NRG had a monster move today. They announced that they're going to buy out another company. This is now at a new all-time high. So new all-time high, always interested for a day trade. So to look into see if the, you know, this is actually a little bit more of a boomer name, I guess. Maybe not. I shouldn't be really saying things like that. But this one is a lot more slow given how it traded today. I've never really traded this name, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how the liquidity is. I was trying to watch it for the most part of the day. I was looking for dips into 140 after the opening range breakout. Right here we had a little bit of the 3-bar play. So 3-bar breakout, opening range breakout, and it just never came back. So 141 breakout, and you got an exit into 149, 150 after hours, 151. So monster move. Ideally on a move like this, you want to see the earnings VWAP, which my chart is not showing. Where's my earnings VWAP? I'll have to figure that one out. But today's VWAP is basically kind of earnings VWAP. You want to see today's VWAP holding up on any sort of pullback. So 147 is like the first line in sand, the first line of defense. And if we do give up 147, 146.50, 147, I think expecting for 140, 141 is not the wrong call at all over there. Obviously, it could go much lower if it does give up this area. You're questioning why did we give up today's VWAP. Today's midpoint is also something important. So today's midpoint is 144. So a couple levels over there to keep an eye out. 144, today's midpoint. Today's opening range high 141, and today's VWAP around 146.50. So if any of these levels hold and show some sort of a support, I think looking long from there might not be a bad call for a day trade. But if you are looking for any sort of an explosive move, the stock should not get below 146.50. If it gets below that, I think you're not seeing many permutations that look like this. So let me just draw it out. So if it goes down here and does this, that's great because you get a look back at today's high and maybe even higher. But if we go down here, I think you got more this than this, right? So this is something that you still get to take advantage of. That's a $5 range. That's a $5 playroom, but is it as exciting as this? Probably not, right? So couple scenarios to keep an eye out for when you are watching NRG. ASTS, a stock that reported today after hours, and a name that, you know, I remember seeing the stock doing this type of a rise, and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked seeing this type of a move. And now, after its earnings report, still around its 200-day moving average. I mean, fairly strong. The report does not look good though. Sideways action. We did pop up, double top, and kind of just staying in today's low areas in the after hours over here. Let's quickly go check out what that report looks like on this stock. EPS of 20 cents per share loss, missing EPS of 18 cents per share estimate, loss of 18 cents per share, sorry, sales of 718,000 and missing an estimate of 4.2. How is this stock not absolutely smoked? What am I looking at over here? ASTS reported loss of 20 cents per share. Okay, yeah, we read that, 11 cents. This is a 25 cents per share decrease from same period last year. Reported, this is a, what is it? by 82% miss. This is a 43% increase, however, from same period last year. What am I looking at over here? Anyways, still holding up around its ranges. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets smoked a little bit off that report. Anything off guidance? I'm not seeing anything on guidance over here, possibly in this side of the report. Shout out to Benzinga for helping us up with the earnings reports over here, and I'm not seeing guidance. Is this guidance? Expected revenue opportunity 50 to 75 million in the second half of 2025. Total operating expenses 63.7 in the first quarter. The company ended the quarter with 874 million in cash. I mean, the report doesn't look too good to me overall. And the move in the after hours is a little bit bearish. Nice little double top and pretty bearish. Pre-market will be important, obviously. And last time I remember, I never had a good track record trading ASTS, especially as a day trade. Maybe because I was overly bearish and I was looking to fade this ridiculous move up. But every time I tried to go short on this name, I just got burned. So maybe the best thing to do sometimes is just to blue ball a stock and not really focus on that one at all, no matter what type of a catalyst it has. But if there is a setup there, obviously trade the setup. For me, it might just have to be a blue ball stock for tomorrow. Archer reporting today after hours, a drone stock, and it flew indeed. It flew, but sadly, as all drones, they do either die out of battery or get shot out of the sky. And looks like a little bit both happening to this one. Still landing above today's high in the after hours, which is a little bullish overall. Let's go check out the report here on ACHR. Little drone company, how did you do today? Aviation files for offering up to 19.25 million shares. Where is the overall report? Forged a partnership with Palantir to build artificial intelligence for the future of next-gen aviation technologies. Okay, continuing to the report. Reported loss of 17 cents per share, estimates of 28 cents per share, so that they beat the overall loss estimate. Archer highlighted an announcement of its first two customers of the Midnight Edition launch in the first quarter and said it plans to deliver its first Midnight aircraft to the UAE in the coming months, with planned development slated for later this year. The company also highlighted a partnership with the signed Palantir, we kind of read that over here, to develop AI systems to improve range of aviation systems. I mean, that's actually pretty bullish overall in itself. Archer said its quarterly spending stayed with the previously guided range. Okay, anything about the guidance? Here we go. Reported EBITDA loss 109 million the quarter. Guidance in the second quarter adjusted 100 to 120. Executives will have a conference call. Stock was up at the time. Not really too much, I guess, over here, but the Palantir news actually has my brain kind of thinking a little bit. Palantir has a lot of what you call them, government contracts, right? A lot of government contracts, and they're in bed with a lot of governments across the world. So if Palantir partner with Archer and they actually end up developing something really good, something robust, something that the American government for sure needs, because how much further is the Chinese government in the drone technology? If you guys know anything about the Chinese drone technologies, it is out of this world. It is by far much better than America, because of the American I think it's FIA, Federal FAA, I don't know, Federal Aviation Admissions, whatever it's called. They kind of just like cock block America from with the drone laws and just overall laws of sky and so on, and that's why China has just been super powering through all of this technology for drones. They host these immaculate drone shows where dragons come out of nowhere. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. And imagine what Ukraine and Russia has been doing with all of their drone stuff over there too. So ACHR needs to obviously start picking up the ball over here for America, baby, yeah. So they need to, I'm not even American, I'm Canadian, but they need to pick up the ball over here for North America, and with the help of Palantir, maybe you'll start seeing some killer drones coming out, and actually some contracts going into the government and so on through ACHR. So pretty decent report, I guess. Overall, nothing really too much bearish over there, and breaking out of what seems to be from last week's areas overall, breaking out above last week area. So building support around 950, 960 and staying strong above that. I think it's a no-brainer long on this stock over here tomorrow. So showing any support above 950 as a day trade. I'm not saying as a swing trade, as a day trade. If it shows you support above 950, you possibly have an easy move to the north side of how much is the ATR of this stock? ACHR ATR is 59 cents. Possibly a 50 cents to a dollar move to the upside on this name to look for. Hertz, another name that reported today after hours, but we're gonna skip Hertz for sure. MVST, also probably gonna skip MVST. SMR, here's a good name to keep an eye on. A nuclear name that reported. I mean, if you guys remember all the hype that nuclear stocks have had not too long ago, OKLO, NNE, SMR, all these stocks were really hyped, trying to provide power for AI, for computing and so on. So seeing their report, possibly I was thinking that we would see a little bit more move here. I'll be honest, I was expecting a little bit more in the after hours, but a little bit muted. Very much in today's ranges. I guess that's kind of says itself, right? So if you're holding today's low tomorrow and bouncing back, potentially something to look for as a long. But if we're pushing right back into this range over here, I'm not really looking to fight the longs or the shorts. The stock needs to get below 16 for me to look short, and the stock needs to basically, honestly, look strong above 18 for me to look long tomorrow. So a couple ideas over there, but I don't think this one might even come into play tomorrow, even though it did report. That's pretty sad. I was pretty excited to put SMR on the watch list, honestly. But I guess I'll have to be happy with the next few set of stocks that will be on the watch list, because they actually made a pop today. JD, SE, all of them. Oh, I thought SE made a pop. It didn't? But SE looks like it wants to break out over there. For those of you who remember, this stock was once a darling during the COVID era, the darling to the upside, and now trying to go back up a little bit. So the 52-week high possibly giving you a breakout tomorrow pre-market, and if it sets up, I'm not saying it sets up for an EP, but if it sets up for some sort of a beautiful breakout and a move back up, you can see how it's holding the 200-day moving average. You got a nice range over here to break out through, so potentially you can look for some sort of a 5-minute opening range breakout long, some sort of VWAP continuation later on in the day. You can look for a mean reversion if the stock is up too far too quick, like if it's, for example, into $200, potentially a mean reversion back into 180, into 170. So a couple ideas over here to keep an eye out for SE. I think we are gearing up for a breakout over here. We'll be sad to see SE jump right back to the south side, but even then, it's not really bearish, right? It's still above the 200-day. You can see how the trend has been pretty much corrected after it bottomed out into, oh man, what was I doing not buying stocks at these prices, huh? That's what the regret is for everybody when they see the market going back up. Yikes. But I potentially will be watching this one for my swing trade account and my day trade account, depending on how the earnings report comes out. LUNR, another good name to keep an eye on. Usually only worth to keep an eye on when their rocket ships are being sent to the moon, because they end up crashing. But after that, it's almost a nothing burger name, honestly. But we'll see. Tomorrow with the earnings report, potentially a trade opportunity setting up on LUNR. Under Armour, the Steph Curry name, Under Armour UAA. Let's see if they give you an opportunity also. Along with, I think this is another apparel company or a shoe company, right? ON Holdings, along with ON. Now this one is actually something to keep an eye out for. I do remember seeing the stock getting very active during earnings names, reclaiming the 200-day moving average, getting back up along with the market. All things exactly what you want to see. So if the earnings report comes out well, maybe we get a potential gap up and some sort of a dip to get long into, or maybe some sort of a rip to get short into. So ON reporting tomorrow pre-market will obviously be important. Now come the very, very important stocks for tomorrow, and the most you're gonna hear me complain the most for the rest of the night for these names. So starting with Uber, missing out on a big opportunity today for fucking haggling 10 cents. What an idiot. So this is what happened. The stock was here. I think I was trading, some other small cap name or whatever the heck I was trading. I hear Ariel on his Discord call out Ubers through 84. I go, what? I quickly pull up my phone. I log into my account. I'm going through 84. I'm quickly looking to make an order. I throw an order to get long 84. And the stock obviously never pulls back into 84 to give me a dip buy. And it just keeps on going, keeps on going. So, I don't want to say you win some, you lose some. It's just, sometimes you just got to be ready for it. I should have had a 84 breakout entry long, maybe a 85.50 breakout entry long, If I was needing the confirmation, then I could have gotten the confirmation of 50 cents higher or whatever the heck I was waiting for. I just didn't have to wait for it. So there are so many things I could have done better over here. Same thing happened on Tesla. I didn't take the Tesla 292 break because I was so busy trying to catch the trade on the day trade account that I missed out on this swing account on this move. And look who's going to cry about it for the rest of the day, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year. Especially if the stock goes to fucking 400 bucks. I'm gonna be so sad watching this one keep going higher. I could, I guess, expose myself a little bit. Expose myself a little bit with TSLL or something, which is still not late, but my brain's still thinking. I'm still new to swing trading. I'm still a little trying to test the waters and trying to dip my foot. I did catch the hood breakout, which I'm happy about, and hood looks a little weak today, but still looks good overall. Okay, coming back to Uber, which I wanted to talk about for tomorrow. Uber, I mean, this is a very bullish move. Look at that monster bounce off the is this the 9 EMA? Yeah, monster bounce off the 9 EMA on the daily chart. Good volume spike today after 2 days of volume kind of calming down. Breaking the all-time high today. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock is above 100 in next week or so. We're already going into 90 bucks in the after hours over here. What is the high in the after hours? 88.38 in the after hours. But I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 9,500 this week or even next week. So keep an eye out for this name. It's been one of the most loved names across the sentiment trackers too, like Twitter and so on. That's something that's a bullish thing to always keep an eye out for. And if you're just tracking flows or just keeping an eye out for a simple setup, I mean, this one checked off all the books. The news for Uber too is also a good thing. They're also partnering up with a couple companies like Pony and so on, which is like Waymo. So Uber, all things is systems go. I just wish I wasn't so slow. Tomorrow, looking for a dip buy. If the stock is actually strong above 87, I'll honestly say 85 because 87 holding would be awesome. But that would be just way too clean. Expecting the stock to be that clean would be stupid. It would be absolutely ridiculous. So if it does hold 87, awesome. I'm ready for it. Show me that 87 hold. Let's get long. Let's go to 95. Let's keep mooning tomorrow. But that's just way too ridiculous. I think the 85 pullback is a much more expectable trade, and then holding 85, showing some support off of 85, and then going back up north tomorrow and then reclaiming 87 after showing support at 85, I think is a much more bullish chart, honestly, for a little bit of a longer run. But what do I know? I'm just kind of making up permutations here in my mind as to what I am expecting the chart to do. I could be wrong. Maybe it is clean off of 87, and maybe it just runs off of 87 tomorrow. So keep an eye out for both of those levels. I'm very interested to see how that bad boy sets up. Palantir, insane reversal from its earnings report. Shout out to Palantir over there, looking like it wants to get pushed right back into its all-time high and then continue its rally. So that one's worthy watching for. Affirm was ridiculously strong today, back-to-back volume candles. Oh, Affirm's actually what, earnings day 3 today or day 2? Is that why it had that strong of a move? It had earnings day 2. Ooh, I didn't even know Affirm was earnings day 2. Shout out to Affirm, boys. So earnings day 2, I guess, and the market kind of giving it that extra sauce, that extra juice, that extra salt bay move to it. If it does show support on the pullbacks tomorrow for a day trade, potentially something to keep an eye out for. But I'm expecting volume to actually die down on this name, not to continue the way it is. Hopefully I'm wrong on that one. Let's see if I get to eat my words, and it does show you some support overall on a pullback tomorrow. But this is a little... it's a little choppy, honestly, for me, but I'll keep an eye out for it. I got nothing wrong with the Affirm chart there. Robinhood as a day trade, I'm not really sure what I want to do with this one as a day trade. Maybe because I'm too biased now with my swing account, so I potentially just want to be not trying to, think about my two accounts too much and not try to force a trade here. And if I do want to think about a cryptocurrency trade, I think we got a much better trade over here brewing up for tomorrow. You got MicroStrategy, you got IBIT, you got Coinbase, which announced the news catalyst, so for sure in play tomorrow. So I think Hood is going to be on the watch list. If it shows up some sort of an easy 5-minute pattern, you guys know I always hunt for in-play stocks that give me 5-minute patterns to trade off of for a quick scalp and so on. Active trader. So looking for 5-minute patterns, so obviously scalp in and out from any opportunities I get. And so if it does show up for a quick little opportunity, yes, I'll take advantage of it. Today it had exceptional volume off the open. Almost as much as that day over there. Not bad. Okay, pretty good volume on Hood, which is good for me because I'm invested in it. Here comes the big boy names, which I think actually will be something to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Some of these names I didn't touch today at all. I didn't touch them, any of them. I guess Apple is the only one I traded because I did not know what the market would do. I just could not expect the market to continue going higher, but I did not expect the market to absolutely sell off either. Granted, I did take that short today, but I immediately got out of that short once the market showed me that it was going to go back up. So good job on me, but I did not think that we were going to go way too higher, and it really did not go much higher either, right? We just stuck inside the pre-market high. The question will be, what does the market do tomorrow? Do we gap down a little bit? Do we give a little bit of pullback? Do you see more buyers coming back in? What's going on with the overnight market? What's going on with the blue ocean market, which is the overnight market for those of you who don't know? So that one's a little bit of a, I'm not sure how those transactions get carried over still, but something to keep an eye on. It's a good reference number at the end of the day, but the overnight futures market is overall the number one thing to keep an eye out for. So Tesla potentially, gives you a little bit of a pullback. You're also looking at some of the other large cap loves, such as Nvidia, still under the 200-day, sadly. Microsoft, which is above the 200-day. Meta, which is above the 200-day. Google actually showed a little bit strength today. The fact that Google is reclaiming this little news halfway point. This was the day where Apple announced that they're going to be introducing AI to their browser. Guess what? AI is already in Google browser. AI is already in every goddamn browser there is already. So this news, the way it was sold off on Google, kind of felt a little too trigger happy by somebody, and they're gonna regret it in the future. So the fact that we're reclaiming this little area at the moment, still not bullish because we're not above the 200-day moving average, but the fact that we're reclaiming this area with the rest of the market trying to go back up, all things look much better better on Google at the moment. So all of these names watching, nice pop on Amazon back above the 200-day. So when these large cap stocks gap up like this, it's hard to look long on a day trade. But if they do set up for a trade tomorrow, that's when things get spicy. That's when you start getting ready to dance on these names. You know, today's low, today's high, today's midpoint. How are stocks behaving around these key levels? Possibly breaks today's low for a potential move back into support around 200. Guess what? 200 is also the 200-day moving average. So things like these align, and just kind of the stars, the moons, the dogs, the cats, I don't know what the saying is, but all of them just align, and just sometimes they just give you the best trade opportunity. So you're gonna have to I actually have a setup over here, or a chart layout, which is called 6 charts. Right? If I go to 6 charts, all it is simply 5-minute charts of the top 6 large caps that I like to trade. The only one missing is Meta, because Meta's liquidity is kind of trash in my opinion, and I much rather trade stocks that have a better liquidity overall. For example, Nvidia trades like what, 100 million shares a day. So Tesla trades 100 million shares a day, and they're both less priced than Meta, and they have pretty good ATRs themselves too. So overall, I keep track of my 6 stocks over here, and I'm constantly watching. I'm looking for that 5-minute setup, possible long over here, looking for 5-minute setups, VWAP bounces, how these stocks are behaving, and I'm constantly going to be scanning, and then when I see a setup highlight themselves for me. There was a setup over here on Nvidia. Where was it? Right over here, somewhere about high a day, but then the market just pulled back and pushed back south. I was looking for a potential breakout, but remember what I said, the market is so extended today. How are you going to take a breakout? It's just going to be ridiculously hard to even look for a breakout long today. But tomorrow, if we set up in the same way, if we pull back to today's VWAPs on some of these names, look how strong Microsoft was, look how strong Nvidia was. So if these stocks pull back into today's VWAP, 122, 445, and they show support above it, I will not be surprised we see a move right back into today's high, and maybe even more on some of these stocks over here tomorrow on the large cap sector. So all of them are important. I'm not gonna discriminate any one of them tomorrow. We can even put Meta in the basket, because Meta is actually one of the stronger ones in the basket. Nice little breakout, held above the 200-day moving average. This is exactly what you want to see from the market in itself. You want to see the market get above the 200-day moving average, holding a couple days back and forth, showing you that buyers are stepping up. Why are these lows stopping at these levels? It's because buyers are stepping up at these prices. Why are these highs going up higher and higher? Because sellers are getting their booty spanked, and they're getting stopped out, and they're having to get pushed out of their trades, right? This is exactly what you want to see from the trade. So holding their back and forth, 200-day moving average turning into a support from a previous resistance, and now a market bullishness coming back in and pushing Meta right back up. So imagine you get a nice dip buy, and that dip buy has some more juice to it. I don't think you get a dip buy into 600 tomorrow. Trust me, I don't expect 600 coming into play, but if we do get a nice 620, today's half point 630, somewhere around today's levels to get a dip buy opportunity, I would love to look for a long on Meta also. So no discrimination on the large cap stocks tomorrow at all. And last but not least, we kind of talked about this one already, Coinbase making a nice after hour pump today, all the way up to 230 bucks. Yes, 229.95, maybe even 230, because I don't pay for TradingView data. I'm cheap. I don't pay for TradingView data, but this is a fairly bullish move. I'm pretty sure that's a reclamation of 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is 225, and the stock is at 230, which is just slightly above 225. You know what that means? If we're strong above 225, it's all systems go. If we're not strong above 225, then looking long on this name might be a little hard. So be careful on this one tomorrow for sure. I think overall, the way the stock is trading, and so many people have been dying for Coinbase to get added to the indexes. They've been pleading and praying. Every time you get these news of what stock is being added to the index or removed from the index, people would be praying that Palantir and Coinbase would be the next two stocks that would be added. But then Palantir got added and Coinbase never got announced. So Coinbase kind of got hit after that news. But now Coinbase finally getting added to the index, and you know, giving some of these buyers a sigh of relief, giving them a mental they were having a mental breakdown, but giving them a little bit. Oh my god, look at Baba. Fuck, I wish I bought some Baba, man. I was so scared of the Chinese sector with the whole D-list and everything that was going on. I was so scared, but Baba was clearly so strong compared to the rest of them. I mean, look at Baidu, which is still a little weak, slowly reclaiming the 200-day. Pinduoduo getting back up above its 200-day also. FXI moving back up. I was so interested on shorting that Baidu move, but I guess I'm never going to get that breakdown, huh? Never going to get that breakdown. Hey, maybe in the future, we'll see if things actually hit the fan again. But right now, with everything going in what seems to be in the right direction, we do seem like it is all systems go. It is recession canceled. Markets is you know, all the way back into all-time high. We're just gonna boom. No, let's kind of maintain the what'd you call them, the expectations a little bit. Lance actually posted a good tweet today about one of his concepts called the pendulum concept. Now, that doesn't mean that the market can't go higher. Obviously, it can go higher, but the chances are most of the time that this pendulum, once it goes one way, it starts to swing the other way, right? So now that you got the market, for example, QQQ, first you got the pendulum swinging extremely to one side. Now you got the pendulum swinging possibly extremely to the other side. A little bit of equilibrium to be found eventually. So some pullback and some back and forth. The market kind of did what I said I wanted to see. You know, you saw market hold a little bit around 200-day and then breakout, which is good. But expecting a pullback is not a bad thing at all. So anyone who's expecting a pullback, they're not being bearish. They just want to see maybe a little bit of confirmation. But at the same time, no pullback and more move to the upside is not out of the picture. If we do get that more move and no pullback, the market's now 5% away from all-time high, 6% away from all-time high. Just last week, guys, we were screaming recession, 20% down, and now we are literally 5% away from all-time highs. So a little bit of a pullback would be nice, but if there is no pullback, then you got to be ready to punch longs on this one too. I will obviously be listening to my boy Ariel every day on his Discord. So if you guys are want to go check out Ariel, Real Simple Ariel, go check him out. Awesome dude. He actually streams his pre-market prep every single day, and then you know, he also talks about his thinking and everything for trading overall as a swing trader, which I'm trying to be more. So I'm gonna be sitting and listening to his thoughts on the market. But as a day trade, you guys hear my thoughts today over here. Hopefully you guys found some trades overall, and I will catch you guys hopefully next time, which is tomorrow on the market. Quickly, what is it? I want to see what stocks reported IPO or anyone that are IPOing this week. Oh yeah, baby, eToro. Almost forgot about eToro. We do have eToro IPOing. Anything else IPOs? Antalpha? Come on, dude. Alpha Platform Holdings. Okay, whatever. 57 million, not that big. 63 million, not that big. But obviously 575 million. That one's very important. eToro. Pretty sure it's another brokerage company. Very similar like Webull. Very similar like Robinhood. Maybe not like Robinhood. Robinhood probably the better than Webull and eToro. So maybe comparing eToro to Webull is actually the better comparison. At the end of the day, another IPO for us to have some fun with. So we'll be keeping an eye on this one. Tune in tomorrow to learn more about that company and prepare for that one. And then quickly go take a look at the econ calendar, because that might be be a little spicy. Ooh, it is spicy. We got core CPI tomorrow at 8:30, so that will easily move the market. If core CPI looks good with the current given market news, I mean, I would not be surprised if we see the market gapping up and then getting sold off the rest of the day. So that's a trade opportunity over there for the day trade, right? If you see the market really gapping up tomorrow, another 3-4% gap up, I don't think the intraday is a long trade. I think the intraday is fade the gap up. But if the intraday is somewhat flat or above today's high after CPI, I think you could have a pretty good long day. But if the intraday tomorrow is you know, somewhat lower than today's low, and the market's looking weak, then there could be a gap down short opportunity for us to have fun with, and a little bit of a flip long later on opportunity given the current market environment and market news. There's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a little bit of fear. We still got tariffs on a lot of companies other than China, but it seems like, well, it's not seems like, we knew China was the only thing that mattered really, and China scaling back and kind of going lenient on each other, going partner mode with each other was overall the best thing that the market could have. And hopefully we stay that way. Tomorrow, 8:30 CPI is the most important thing to keep an eye on. So keep an eye out for that one for sure, especially if you're a futures trader. If you're trading futures, you 100% want to keep an eye on for what happens at 8:30 and so on. I think that's about the end of the stream today. Quickly shout out to all of my affiliate sponsors, and I might have a new affiliate sponsor. I actually will have to get on call with them tomorrow and figure out if we align with each other's views. So we'll talk about that very soon. But until now, you guys are more than welcome to check out the 4 softwares that I use every single day to trade with. Trade Ideas, all my scanning, all my day-to-day scanning, Trade Ideas. All my tracking of my trades, Trader Sync, Benzinga Pro. You guys see me use it for news after hours, but during trading hours, I actually have Benzinga Pro Squawk playing throughout the day. Also, it can be used for charting, for signals, and for Benzinga AI, which is a pretty neat platform actually. It's not bad. I've tried it once. I've tried it. Pretty cool platform overall. And last but not least, Flash Research, awesome tool for small cap. I use it a lot for small cap stuff. You can see historical data, data like how many times has the stock gapped up, how many times has the stock sold off, and so on. They also have a really cool back testing platform on there, and you know, I like Flash Research a lot. So if you guys are interested in using the tools that I do, you can get awesome discounts by using the links down below in the description. And that's basically all she wrote, and I will catch you guys tomorrow 8 p.m. Time to roll in the outro. Good luck on the markets. I'm gonna go do some homework and do some chart cataloging. Catch you guys next time. Peace. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.